Diva Dana something.
Wow,
Not Michael.
we need to pay attention
Diva
when we're
Dana?
live. Hey, everybody, welcome to DivaDads, episode 17. I'm Dana Martin.
I'm Adrienne Dobson.
I'm Rodney Bettis.
And I'm better than Mike Kilgore.
Hashtag truth.
So we have our guest host, Kristy Petty, this evening because Mike is too much of a diva and he is only slated for so many episodes, and then he is entitled to a week off. So that's where Mike is.
That's not true.
We also have dual guests this evening with Mark and Linda Bendiksen, which we're real excited about, and new segment, maybe?
Why maybe? It's a new segment.
Well, if I don't click on the right thing,
Well, that's
let's be real.
that sounds like a personal problem, Dana. Hi. So not a whole lot going on in like theater world. How was y'all's week? Rodney, how you doing? How's school?
Man, I'm tired. I'm dog tired. It's been okay. School's been okay. The Josie asked me if she could go back to school at the 6 weeks, and I was like, if things are going the way they're going, yeah, probably.
Okay.
But if every parent's like that, then I may change my mind because if I get too many people around, I start getting the
Twitchy?
yeah. So
COVID.
COVID itch.
Well, things are going great on A&M's campus. So yeah, everything's
No
fine.
problems there. No problems
Kristy,
there.
how was your week?
It's good. I am. This is brought to you by Squeezed. I'm doing this juice cleanse.
That sounds terrible.
This is day 3, juice 5 out of 5 days. So, and I've decided that I'm still going to have wine tonight because that's made from grapes, and that means it's a juice.
So,
You's
quick
about
question.
to be drunk.
On your third day, but
Right.
that's your 5th juice. And it's a 5-day plan. Did you drink
No.
all your juices too
No,
soon?
She
You
gets
drink
the more
5
than you
juices a day.
Oh,
So this is my 15th juice.
gotcha.
That's thrilling.
That's a lot
So-
of juice.
I'm
Yeah.
proud of you, but also be careful with your alcohol intake this evening.
Yeah. David Manuel is like twitching if he's watching because he's like math, Dana math.
So we have a Mike Kilgore sighting in the chat, so he
I
can
know.
show up in
Oh!
the chat, but he can't
Yeah.
show up for the show. Mike Kilgore.
Well, y'all look amazing. Mike, we know. Thank you. Dana, how was your week?
It's pretty cool. Actually, tomorrow I'm gonna get to go to see my daughter and grandson. I
Yay!
am super stoked about that. She and him joined one of the Dads After Dark once before. Real excited, and yeah. So whatever happened this week, it doesn't matter because tomorrow's gonna be a good day.
Cool.
Awesome. So one thing that happened this past weekend is myself and Carrie Kempf and Hannah Shadanian and family, we watched a live stream of Tuck Everlasting because Tuck Everlasting is one of the shows that's able to be legally streamed. You can stream it. So, theoretically, then your audience is like home safe, right? But there's still no way to keep the actors safe from singing at each other. And it's a really big cast. I mean, you guys are both in it, there's a lot of people in the show. So we watched it. It was beautiful. As soon as it started, we're all pretty much crying because it's such a beautiful show and like we really want to be a part of it. It was encouraging and also discouraging at the same time because they did the show, yes, and they wore the clear face shields that aren't really a mask. They're just a shield that projects all of your air down. So it's not really helping. And they were still kind of touching and holding hands and hugging and way too close for comfort. So we were looking for a way like, okay, if they did it, maybe there's a way for us to do it safely. And I'm real excited that we got to see it. And I hope that they were all okay, but it wasn't safe at all, which was a bummer because, I got hopeful for a second that, okay, maybe they figured it out. But the truth is that no one's figured it out. And it can happen, but everything's a risk right now, which is sad. But, we just have to keep all of our actors safe. So that's my news. That's kind of a bummer. So let's see. What else can I throw at you? Let's see. I got a sneak peek of a song from Rain on Me, which is our upcoming benefit concert. Not really a benefit concert, just a, fun concert. Parker Greer is going to be singing I Just Can't Wait to Be King. And he's been working with it working on it with Carrie, and it's pretty amazing. So there's that. There's the happy theater news. Rodney, tell us about the theater company teens that are all growing up.
So yeah, from what I understand, I have not talked to them a lot this week, but from what I understand is that they're going to continue to evaluate internet fashion finds. And while we were getting ready for this show, it was just kind of playing on my Facebook because I just kind of have those kinds of things on a loop. And I got another glimpse of the face mask that you can wear that's got Danny DeVito's face on it, which is just, I mean, it's, you know, that's what I need. I need that in my life. So yeah, expect some more ridiculousness because they're going to bring the ridiculousness because
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so we are now introducing our new segment, which is not a mystery. So last week in Kate Mitchell's episode, we started When Kate Cries, which is her telling us about a time, because there were many times when a musical made her cry, basically at what point the musical made her cry. So it started really easy with The Lion King. Basically, The Lion King started, Kate cried. And so she has a new story for us this week from a really cool location. So this is our new segment, When Kate Cries.
When Kate.
This is fun, guys.
You're doing great.
I already made fun of Mike. Check.
Good.
Check. I need some more of that. Okay, Rod's getting ready for cocktails. Great. Kate's here.
How far is New York from Washington, D.C.?
Not far.
Thing on the people in front of me. But the part that I want to highlight the most that I cried in is in When Kate Cries. Hey everybody, it's your girl Kate, coming at you from Washington, D.C. I just attended the March on Washington today. It is the anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, and we marched for Black Lives Matter today. So my When Kate Cries for this week is actually going to be from the color purple. I went and saw that with a lot of TTC alum, and I did standing room at the back of the orchestra because I got a ticket last minute. So I paid $27 to stand for the entire show, and I audibly sobbed like a baby. I mean, I probably was dripping on the people in front of me. But the part that I want to highlight the most that I cried in is in the song I'm Here. Cynthia Erivo is such a gift, first of all, but specifically the lyrics that say, I believe I have inside of me everything I need to live a bountiful life, and all the love alive in me. I stand as tall as the tallest tree. I'm thankful for every day I'm given, both the easy and hard ones I'm living. But most of all, I'm thankful for loving who I really am. I'm beautiful, yes I am, and I'm here. Love you guys, have a great show. When Kate Cries.
And we're
Thank
back.
you. Thanks, Kate. Twice.
Sorry about that, Miss All Over the Place.
It's fine.
It wasn't intentional, I promise.
So he says. Yeah, so I got to see The Color Purple on Broadway, and I think multiple people have talked about that show on this podcast. It is one of the most beautiful, and not only just the show, but being able to see Cynthia Erivo, kind of soul-stirring. But the other thing, too, is go to the theater company Facebook page, because Ben Ikwagwu, previous guest of DivaDads, has sung that song for us. That was his first audition, and he filmed it for us, and we got to play it on our Facebook page. So that's a good one. Everyone cries. In fact, that moment in the show got a literal standing ovation mid-show. I've seen that happen like a handful of times. Mid-show, standing ovation, which is what we're about to give Rodney, because he's going to make me a drink.
So,
No?
I mean, Rodney, I'm the dude, man. I'm the dude. Like, you could call me the Sir Dudeness or
El Duderino.
Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing. But yeah, so we need a cocktail. So if you are following along in your hymnal, it's on page 330.
Thanks, Terri.
Yeah, but I make this all the time, so I don't need it. So you're going to need to put, you're going to need a glass. You could have a low ball glass, or you could, I don't know, you could put it in, I don't know, whatever you got, man. I mean, don't stress over it, man. So, yeah, and then you're going to need some vodka, silver vodka, Mike Kilgore, silver. So you're going to put some in there until you feel like it's enough. Because, man, and then you're going to need your Kahlua. You got Kahlua because you're going to make a Caucasian here.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right. So once you've got that, I think I may have put the wrong cap on the wrong bottle, but it's going to be cool, man. All right. So then, of course, in order to make it a Caucasian,
Ugh, gross.
you got to float that cream on top.
Don't like that. Dana,
Oh, you shouldn't drink milk.
oh, Dana, use your words.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh, that's way too much milk.
Oh,
no!
God.
So it's really good, man.
Ugh.
Okay, my only critique is that I appreciate the attire you're wearing, but like I really needed a robe for this Jeff Bridges moment.
I mean, it's kind of like your opinion, man. I don't know.
Well played.
Well done, well done.
He wears a hoodie like through the whole movie. He wears that stupid robe like once. All right, guys, get on with the show. We've got like a breakdown or something to do.
KP, would you like to introduce our next segment and the show we're going to be talking about?
I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
He doesn't remember.
I don't think she has our outline pulled up.
Okay, so
I had one job.
Yeah,
that's
one
okay.
job.
That's okay.
There's
So-
a breakdown coming up.
The Roger Pine breakdown. Where again,
Oh, I knew what I was supposed to do, but it's Alana. But it's from our theater company regular, Alana O'Connell, also my assistant general manager and marketing hoobity doobity of the Village Cafe.
Doobity doobity.
She's a marketing hoobity doobity, and yeah, she's generally just awesome, and she's here to tell us about Oklahoma.
yay!
Is about,
Did I do it right?
It's a musical about Wolverine. After the Men in Black erase his memory, he gets placed in Oklahoma, and instead of noticing the glitches in the Matrix while he's there, they all just sing songs about their acceptance of the obvious glitches in the Matrix while living in the plains of Oklahoma. I'm picturing lots of stalks of barley.
She nailed it.
And with no pants on and everything. Like, that was great. Why wear pants when you're
That's
going to
how
be
Oklahoma is done. So,
Right. It makes it more interesting because it
KP,
takes.
were you in Oklahoma when we did it?
No, I refused to be in Oklahoma, but I did make the clothes. I was the costumer.
Ah, cool.
Missy Barron and I together made clothing. All those dresses that are all those matching straight like quilt things. I don't know, and then like the little top. Yeah, I made all that stuff.
We still use them all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, one of my least favorite shows, but the revival that they just did in New York, where it's like super dark and creepy, I dig. Like, that was good. It was dark. It was kind of sexy, like not what you would think about Oklahoma, but it was hot. Like that show was hot. I'm gonna have to like find some clips because it was good. But also, what the heck is that show about? So, I think
Is that the show that the Surrey with the fringe on top
Yes.
song from? Because I really only know that from City Slickers.
And When Harry Met Sally. Well, Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Crystal, one of
Billy Crystal.
something that he did.
Yeah, that's such a dumb show. I would rather watch Alana's version. That sounds great.
Yeah,
I just find that every time a community theater does it, the ballet is so painful. It makes the show that's so bad already so much worse. And
So the revival, it's not a full ballet. It's one girl who comes out and she's like this amazing contemporary Alvin Ailey dancer, and she's wearing like a nightgown with sequins, and it's like this solo contemporary ballet that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was really cool because that's like the moment you dread. You're like, oh god, I have to sit through this 4-minute thing. It was really, really cool. Okay, well, speaking of things that don't suck, we're going on to our guests who are amazing. So Mark and Linda Bendiksen. Mark has been at the theater company since the 90s. He's been around forever. He's been on stage. He's been off stage in the pit. He's a member of our board. And Linda, she has performed on our stage one time. And we are very excited to have them here with us right now. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hola, Bendiksen.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Excelente.
How about you?
Glad you could join us. How has your quarantine been?
You want to take that one?
No, you take it. You never quarantined.
I never quarantined. I've still been going to work every day. Nothing's changed too much for me. Our office, we had a sort of a choice for a while where you could work from home or work there, and there was only 2 people there, so I just went ahead and went. But now pretty much everybody's back. But Linda's had the really crazy time because she's been trying to teach. Classes just started up and she's teaching on site and remotely, which means her day is super long.
That's crazy. Yeah, we have some questions about that, so we're going to get into it. Mark,
the hard part for me is because my parents got really spoiled during the shutdown because I got to spend a lot of time with them. And now it's like they're kind of in withdrawal, so that's, yeah.
I would say my animals feel the same way, but I'm still home, so. So Mark, tell us what you do outside of your life at the theaters.
Well, my regular job, I'm a software engineer. We develop custom websites for people. And that's what I do to pay the bills. I work with a guy that I've known for about 30 years since I first moved here. And
he was in our wedding.
Oh yeah, the guy that I worked for was actually a groomsman at our wedding 30 years ago. So we go way back. And then on the weekends, I'm music pastor for Zion Church of Curtin, which if nobody's familiar with Curtin, Kurten, it's a little town on the way to Madisonville. And it's only got one church. So if you drive past Curtin and you see a steeple, that's it. And so I've been leading music there since 2000, September of 2000, I believe. So I've been serving there exactly 20 years. Lead their choirs when there are choirs. Obviously, we don't have a vocal choir right now, but I am going to start the bell choir back up. I've decided because since bell choirs can wear a mask.
Yeah.
So I've been arranging that. So I'm trying to get some stuff started back up again, but it's been a crazy summer.
Just a little bit. And Linda, what all do you teach right now?
Right now, I'm doing Spanish 2 honors, level 2, and then I have a class that's called Special Topics.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say about that is it's real special.
Yeah.
It's basically juniors and seniors who haven't been able to pass the required 2 years of a foreign language. And they decided I would be a good one to teach it because the state wanted it to be 1 in Spanish, 1 in French, 1 in German, but they just rolled them all together. And so they figured, well, Bendiksen speaks Spanish and French, so we'll just let her do it. And so, yeah.
That did come with a raise, right?
Of course.
Oh, always.
Everything comes with a raise and a stipend.
There
Yes.
you go.
So we know Linda has been watching us regularly because she has started calling this her therapy. But Mark, have you been able to see anything that we're doing?
Yeah. I've watched probably 3 total all the way through, and then parts of others. And so I think I have a feel for what's going on.
Hey, that's more than Kristy's watched.
Well,
It's
if you
more than
count
my
how many
concern.
times she watched her own show,
I actually never did because I didn't want to see how drunk I was at the end. I got a little. I do actually get nervous in front of people, and I should not be able to like have wine while I'm doing that.
But juice is fine. Juice is fine.
Yeah, I've already drank all my juice because.
Watch out, sugar rush.
Right.
Okay, so we have a whole bunch of questions. Kristy, the first one's all you.
Mark, you already know this is coming, but I'm just wondering who is your favorite choreographer that you've ever worked with on Music Man, or just in no pressure.
That isn't a loaded question. So I thought a lot about this when you asked that earlier. And so as most people know, dancing is not really my strong suit,
right?
To say the least. So what?
What Linda said.
This is how tonight's going to go.
Yes.
So the deal is, if I have enough time and enough effort, which is what I usually put into these, I can do coordinated movement well enough that I don't distract from the rest of the show. So here's my safe answer for this. I have two favorite choreographers.
That makes sense.
Now, one of my favorites has to be Kristy Petty.
Of course. You mentioned that first. That makes sense.
Now, the reason for this is, you will appreciate this, Kristy. It was you and Katie Cross. You were both doing choreography for Music Man. Mm-hmm. And you taught some steps to Sadder But Wiser Girl. Me and Clint Compton were doing that number. And it was some really fun steps. I did this show in high school too, and the choreography was really dumbed down in high school. So you took it up to a level, and you actually took my lack of ability into account and taught me some stuff that actually looked cool that I could do. And the reason you're one of my favorite choreographers is because 15 years have passed, and I still remember some of those steps.
Yeah.
I was just doing a show with Stage Center, and I was in the wings, and I was trying to get myself sort of psyched up to come on stage because it's the kind of show where you have to have energy for 2 hours straight. And so this jaunty music was playing on stage, and I started dancing, and one of the people in the cast said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, these are steps from the Music Man." So I was doing stuff from Sadder But Wiser Girl, and that's how much it stuck with me. So thank you. My other favorite choreographer is someone named Adrienne Dobson, and
who's that?
My two stories have to do with Merciful, Adrienne Dobson, and Unmerciful.
I'm familiar with those two.
So let me give you the Unmerciful first.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
So I was in this little show called Spamalot a few years ago, and
Unmerciful.
The times I've watched DivaDads, there has been a lot of talk about Spamalot from several people.
Yes.
But I went to go see it at Tuts a few months before the auditions to see if I really wanted to do it and see what, the principal players had to do. And so I went to Tuts, I saw it, and I remember seeing that, the principal players, King Arthur and the Knights, in the big Knights of the Round Table number, they didn't have to dance very much.
Uh-huh.
So I was watching that and I was like, oh, phew. So as long as you're not in the chorus, you can just sort of stand there and let everybody dance around you. No, that's not what Adrienne did.
That's not how I roll.
That's not how you roll. And I mean, that number was a killer number. It went on and on and on. And when you thought it was over, then it's Chris Harrisman and, the nun thing and being spun around.
Devin.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It was hilarious. But that was a really, really tough number. And all of us had to pull our weight in it. But again, she kept it, sort of to the level that I could keep up.
You had Mark and Harold on that one.
I had Mark and Harold. What's that?
What were we standing on? I can't even remember now. When we were doing that number. Yeah. So that was really tough. Now, let me just tell you quickly about Merciful Adrienne Dobson. In Follies,
I was just going to say.
I do this number at the end called Live, Laugh, Love. And I'm in a top hat and a cane. I wish we had a picture to show because this is really
smoking hot.
keep waiting for the jabs and you're actually saying positive things. And it was a great number. We had Adrienne was dancing in it. There was Deborah
Campbell Green,
and it was
Hannah Ferris.
Lee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Catherine Pope.
Oh, Catherine Pope. That's right.
Yeah.
So I'll never ever forget this. It was one of the early choreography rehearsals, and we were all together, and the girls were all around me, and she was showing them what to do, and Adrienne turns to me and goes, "Mark, they're just going to dance around you. You just stay there. You can do your own little thing. They'll be dancing." You know, she was basically like, "Don't worry." It was so funny.
That's awesome.
And it turned out to be it was a great fun number.
Don't like undersell your dancing and Follies though. Like you were the Will Rogers, like you were all over the place in that show. But yeah, Kristy, you weren't kidding about Spamalot. So our knights were Harold and Mark, Jonathan Moore, Roger Pine, local celebrity, Christopher Rogers, and who was the other one? Who was the other knight?
You interviewed the knight who is no longer in the show.
Andrew Carson, but dancer. He's a dancer.
He's a dancer.
The Knights of the Round Table. So one of the easiest numbers in the show is when you guys sing All for One. Oh. And that's like this like country western, like, you know, we're going to grapevine, we're going to walk together. That was the simplest number in the show. That's the number that made me want to quit.
I don't blame you.
That's what's so funny is, and I tell everyone this, there's always one number in the show where you're just like, the show is coasting. Everything is going great. And then you get to this one number and like no one's brains are working. Everything is 10 times harder than it should be. And it's just a cluster for no reason. It's just every show has to have that number. That number was All for One.
Yeah, it was.
Walking in a straight line, I was like, what happened to these men? Oof.
And we kept practicing it. We were practicing it in weird places in the theater, in the lobby, and we could never get it right. It was pathetic.
It was amazing.
I'll say I see your Knights of the Round Table, and I raise you Hello Dolly with dancing waiters, Chuck Beard, Dan Bates,
Brandon Lacey,
Matthew Burgess, Curtis Lacey, Damon Wallace. I mean, it was amazing. That was hilarious. That was the most interesting choreographing I've ever done.
That was a moment.
The dance where they have to jump up and kick their butts with the bottom of their feet. Like, I made them do it. It was, oh man.
You're awesome.
All right,
so much fun.
All right, so Linda, this question is for you. It's from Beth Aiken, and she wants to know, how do you feel as a seasoned teacher, what it's like in today's education climate?
All right, I'm gonna go take a break.
The thing is, I will say this, everybody's doing the best they can. And I think probably that's actually what makes it the toughest for me right now, is because I'm like, I pretty much rapid fire work through all the stages of grief over and over again. Like denial, I'm not doing this because I don't have to, I can retire. So I'm not doing this, I quit, and my principal saying, please don't quit. And then, well, I guess I never cried. I'm not much of a crier. Did I? I don't think I cried. Well, Foo's seen me cry, but well, so is Kristy. But anyway.
I've never seen you cry.
Right. So anyway, but right now it's the frustration of, because it's nobody's fault. So things are always a little bit easier when it's somebody's fault, and you can like, biatch and moan and be like, oh my gosh, if only, and it's like, hey, it is what it is, as we say, in 12 steps. But I will say this week I started to see a little bit of, I'm working like really, really long days. It's insane. But here, what I'm learning is this. I have this really good opportunity. I probably will retire soon, probably to take care of my parents and stuff. But I have this great opportunity to figure out, hey, particularly in a foreign language, because I do a lot of interactive stuff in class. They talk a lot with each other. I'm determined I'm not going to graduate a bunch of kids that go, I took 3 years of Spanish and I can't speak it. Like, that's so wrong. But how do you deliver that to a kid who's sitting at home? And so this is a really creative opportunity, and something I can pass on to future educators, because this may be we don't know, this may be our future for a while. So I'm kind of working on developing instructional strategies and activities specifically for intercommunicative. How do you, and so what I do a lot with my kids that are at home, I keep it all really, really low tech because I have to, because I'm old and I don't know how to do anything else. But my kids have all messaged to me that they like my stuff better, because this one student told me it's brilliant. She said, the more technology you have, the more that can go wrong. We like the fact that you just upload a video clip and go, hey guys, it's Señora B. You said that word wrong. Here's how you say it. And then they upload a little video clip of them trying to say it right. And so we're figuring it out. So I think I like to see I love to see some of the creativity that's coming out of this. And I know Roddy, well, all of us, we can talk theater. Oh my gosh, think of all the creative things we're doing in theater and schools. So as bad as it is for us, this is good for us. We're all learning, again, the thinking. So anyway, yeah, long answer, but I'm learning to see the good things about it.
Well, it was beautiful. Oh, Maddie Nope just wanted you to know that you're the best Spanish teacher, and Amy Henn said that you're her hero. But I was actually just talking about this with Alana today, about how in this whole time, it's kind of our job to give everyone grace, because everyone has to kind of do the best that they can in every situation. And sometimes that means you're super productive and working really hard, and sometimes that means you just can't quite keep up because we're all dealing with a lot. But it's like at this time when we're supposed to be like trying to cut people some slack, what we're asking of teachers, and also speaking of Amy Henn's nurses, we're asking them to give like 150% more at a time when we're saying, it's okay, relax. Like, we're all going through a hard time, but you don't get to relax at all. Sorry about that.
I'm relaxing right now.
Good. We're happy to help you relax.
So, Beth Aiken has another question, a follow-up now for Mark. How does it feel to be a triple threat? What's that like, as a singer, actor, and dancer?
No. I'm a
actor, dancer, pianist.
Okay, there. That's I'm a triple threat.
And accompaniment. Yes, that word.
Yeah. Anemone.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
How uncomfortable are you right now?
Right.
Let's talk all about you, Mark.
Well, let me tell you. I'll tell you the order things happened. I mean, because piano was actually my first love. Is still probably. Nobody in my family or my parents were not musical people. But when I was in preschool, I guess I was being real obnoxious and singing all the time or something. And the teacher told my mom, you've got to get him into something. And so my mom said, okay, piano lessons, and then that was it. I mean, I was like, you hear stories about kids who the parents have to chain them to the piano bench. And I was not one of those people. I was. Yeah. So that was my first thing. But then I fell in love with the theater very young. And that's when I kind of got the acting bug. Just real quick story on that. When I was 9 years old, my mom was hospitalized for a couple of months, and I grew up in Dallas, and they always had season tickets to the Dallas Summer Musicals. And the Dallas Summer Musicals, it's in Fair Park Music Hall in Dallas, if nobody knows. And they would get the National Touring Company productions. And so in the summer, every 2 weeks would be a different musical. They're like, and so my parents always had season tickets. And so, but the summer my mom spent in the hospital. And so I went with my dad every 2 weeks. And I was just, I guess, some kids, normal boys maybe, get excited taken to the baseball game. And here I was just like, I couldn't wait to be taken to the musical. And I earlier today, I went ahead and looked up the shows that were, because I remember what they were that summer, and I was able to find them in 1978. It was Fiddler on the Roof, The Wiz, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. What is she doing? But anyway, I actually do remember things about each of those shows I went to in 1978. I was thinking through today. I actually have individual memories about each of those shows I went to, and I just remember just being enamored of that. And so that's how I got interested in. I thought I really want to try something like that. And then in high school, I actually did. But so that was the progression then. And then in high school, I was also involved in choir, which I now direct. So I try to balance it all out and do all of them.
Yay. What's your favorite?
playing the piano is still my favorite, simply because it's nice to be able to sit down. Every now and then I go in there and I just pull out some of my old classical books, and it's just nice to just really try to see if I can still play. You know, it's funny. I was a much better piano player at 17 than I am now in a lot of ways. So it's fun to see if I can go back there and play some of the things I used to be able to play when I was a teenager. But that then followed by acting, because it was just recently in the past few years that I went back to doing straight plays that I hadn't done since high school. And that presents a different kind of challenge. You know, if you're lead in a musical, it's one thing because there's always chorus numbers and other people sing, and you don't have as much dialogue as you do in doing a traditional play. And so it was a particular challenge to go back and see if I could actually do that, when I tried to do that a few years ago. So I've kind of fallen back into loving that, the challenge of doing that. And so that's kind of where I am now in that.
But you've lost the stash since the show.
Since the 39 steps.
That was temporary, baby.
That's awesome. Well, so that's one of the reasons we love you so much in the stage center melodramas, because you do get to do both. You are the pianist, so you're playing the piano in the background, but you're never not in character and contributing to what's happening. It's the best.
And I never get to leave the stage.
Well, there is that. It's a good show. Yeah. Okay, but speaking of playing the piano, so our beloved Casey Gilbert, I have some rapid fire questions for you from Casey Gilbert. So you've known Casey for a while, and you played for our close-on cabaret, Tough Love.
Yep.
And we put you through the ringer for that show and made you play some of the most difficult pieces ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's your least favorite accompanist, or what's your least favorite musician? So like Jason Robert Brown.
Yes.
Sondheim,
She's whispering that right now.
Jason Robert Brown.
Robert, Casey, and Tyler. Casey, that's Casey. Is she watching? It was Tyler only, or Casey and Tyler both, but they'd come over to the house and Mark would be like, not Jason Robert Brown.
Okay, so what's your favorite Jason Robert Brown song to play? Or do you have a favorite?
But you know what? I absolutely loved playing the one that Casey sang in the cabaret.
Goodbye Until Tomorrow?
Yes. It was just a beautiful song, and it was so much fun to play with her because she just, I don't know, it was just, we could have done that 10 times a night and I wouldn't have gotten sick of it. I really loved it.
She's so good. What is your favorite song from Cats to play?
If I go with the textbook answer, I love playing Memory. I can play Memory 10 times a night.
Olive approves. Okay, what about your favorite Sondheim song?
Oh man, that's tough.
All right, you know what I'm going to say, and you're going to, okay.
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to behave. I'm going to behave. He's going to say, finish in the Mickey Ficky hat. Finishing the hat, effing hat. Chinese water torture.
Wait, the song?
A little bit on finishing the hat.
Okay. But is it performing it or playing it?
Oh, playing it. Oh,
yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay. As far as singing a song, one of the songs I sang in Follies, The Road You Didn't Take, is actually one of my favorite Sondheim songs, and it's one of my favorite things that I ever got to sing on stage, because I love the sentiments of it, and I love the way we staged it, and I love Cameron being the young me, and he appears in the middle of the song, and it kind of explains why Benjamin Stone is who he is, and I loved everything about it. Just loved it. It was good. I haven't had to play much Sondheim, because I've never been in an orchestra on a Sondheim show.
Because you always get to be in the show.
Well, true. So I don't know if I can really answer that one.
Have you ever played? Have you ever got to sing Finishing the Hat? I mean, like, you ever got to perform that?
No, I never did.
But it's that's your favorite musical, though, right?
That's my favorite musical of Sondheim's, and that's probably one of my favorite songs. It's hard to. There's so many in that show that just really resonate with me, but that was the one. I remember when it first appeared on Showtime and PBS in the mid 80s, and I taped it on VHS, and I just kept watching it and watching it and watching it and watching it. You know, I just was kind of obsessed with it. And
then we met, and he made me watch it and watch it. But Mandy Patinkin.
And she stayed with me. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as
I'd
Mandy's in
never
it.
seen it until we did it, and I was amazed. I'd heard it, but I think you have to see that show.
You
I don't
have to
know.
see it.
You know what I
You
mean?
have to see it.
Like I'd heard it, but I was like, whatever. But I really was. I was transformed. I loved that show. Or like transported. Like I thought y'all did such a good job, and it was just a beautiful show. I loved it so much. Paul was.
Hey, Dana, what did you think of that show?
I think it's Dana's favorite, right?
Yeah,
Whose
Dana.
first show he saw Rod in after My Fair Lady, if I recall.
Translation: Dana never saw Sunday in the Park with George.
I saw some
Where's the diva burn?
of it. Do I have to?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Diva burned us all. All right, Kristy, you're next.
Okay, so Linda, I have to ask this question before I ask the question. You said Linda has been on stage once.
Yes. So, like a month after Randy's funeral, maybe a month, we had a memorial service at the theater that we streamed. Oh, I think I was streaming it from Facebook, but basically anyone was invited to come play, sing, speak, and do whatever you want to just kind of pay tribute. And Linda, who always promised him that she would go audition, she got up and sang.
That's right.
That's cool.
I didn't think I could emotionally handle that night, so I didn't go. But so on that note, it's on my actual question is how, Linda, does it feel to be a TTC icon without ever having set foot on stage in a production?
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's Casey's question.
That's Casey's question.
Whose question is that?
Casey.
Oh, I just, when I moved here from New York, and Randy and I never could quite figure out, because my first show I saw in New York at Mark Hellinger Theater was the first run of Jesus Christ Superstar. And so Randy and I would sit around trying to figure out if he was in the one I saw or not. And we finally figured out he probably wasn't, but I mean, as soon as I got here, I did go, I went to, it was back when Will Worley was real involved in theater, and I was new to Texas and listening to his Texas accent when it was supposed to be a British accent in plays and stuff at Stage Center and the Imagination Station and all that. And so I am super, super comfortable with being a patron of the arts. And I love going to all the productions because then there's none of the pressure. Like, it's just like, I can just go and enjoy myself. So I love it. It's fun.
We were talking about you being on the theater company stage, but specifically, it's not the first time, that wasn't the first time you've been on stage because you did get to do White Rabbit, Red Rabbit at Stage Center.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Oh, man. All right. Dana, you're next.
Speaking of accents, Jennifer Hargis has a question for Mark.
Oh, no.
That's what I say anytime I'm told to do an accent. Oh, no. Mark, would you do more shows at TTC if that POS Jennifer Hargis didn't keep demanding you every summer?
Another series of loaded questions. Well, to be fair, Stage Center does the melodrama every other year, and I love doing that with them because every time it's fun, every time it's different, every night it's different.
Sure.
Because we do we've worked in this thing where we do a different song every night at one point in the show, and it's so much fun. So, but I do. I'm way overdue to do a TTC show. I normally come out of the woodwork every few years because of my crazy schedule, but it has been 4 years since I did the last revival of Into the Woods.
It's been 4 years.
4 years.
Years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I definitely need to find my way back as soon as this COVID deal is lifted from us and we're actually doing stuff again. But yeah.
I have a random I'm just going to forget if I don't say this, but do you, Adrienne and Mark, do you ever find yourself singing along to songs and then you use the words that Randy did in a preview show?
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Especially the Into the Woods song, or the song about there are giants in the sky. Like, I just go directly into the rest of that song every time.
Yeah. No, that's very true. There was one, it was when we did The King and I one year, whatever he did to Getting to Know You, that song stuck with me. And I don't remember what they are at the top of my head because I try not to think about that show. But the preview version of that song is what's in my head, not the regular version.
Right. All of a sudden
awesome.
I'm singing about season tickets. And I'm like, why did I just
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's in that. So just since both of y'all have always been so involved in preview.
In the preview show, yeah.
No, but that's a perfect. I'm glad you asked that question, because one of the other things that takes you away in the summer, which, because Jennifer, yes, you do the melodramas and you do stuff at Stage Center typically in the summers, but I am always trying to like pull you back for preview.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm doing the same thing, trying to rewrite music, and I'm like, Mark, save me.
I know.
Yes,
It's a lot
the
of fun,
whole
though.
telly bit last for Matilda that you did, like I was rolling. I thought that was brilliant.
Oh, that was fun.
Did we even? I don't think we changed the words though. I think I got lazy or tired.
Thank God we kept that intact. Yeah.
I think more and more I had been keeping it intact rather than changing the words, just because it's really hard to do when you're talking about a 45-minute show. But that's for another time.
Yeah.
But I love being able to do preview with you. And it's crazy that time has like already passed this summer.
I know. I was thinking about that yesterday.
Yeah, we were when we did the telethon, it was like a week to the day of when preview was supposed to.
Yep.
Oh, no, yeah, that was about it. Oh, good Lord. Okay.
All right. So Jennifer Hargis has another question for, I'm assuming this is mainly for Mark, but Linda, I'll open it up to you as well. She asked, what is your dream role, realistically speaking, at this point in your life? I think that's a jab at maybe your age.
Yeah. Old guy roles.
Yeah, I can't really think, I mean, there were dream roles when I was younger and more, and my voice hadn't gotten as scratchy as it is now. I mean,
Voice is not scratchy.
well,
I can't hear you.
I just can't hear.
It's starting now.
It's starting. It begins. Because if you'd asked me 20 years ago, again, bringing it back to Sondheim again, I'd always wanted, fell in love with Sunday in the Park with George. I would have loved to try to play George, although it's a little bit out of my vocal range. So that's not really realistic, especially not anymore. So I don't know what's realistic for me these days. I'm
on Golden Pond.
On Golden Pond. Thank you.
Yep, good call. Yep.
Balloons. I can play give me the Hepburn part. Norman.
I always wanted to see him in Cries and Dolls.
Oh.
I mean, really, the main reason I married him was because he was Harold Hill in The Music Man, and I love probably my favorite is Guys and Dolls with Alan Alda's dad, Robert Alda.
Yeah.
And I just thought Mark would have been so perfect in Guys and Dolls, and I always wanted to see him in
Nathan
that.
Detroit would have been fun.
He would have been an awesome Nathan Detroit, but that never happened. That's okay. Yeah.
Linda, what about you? Do you have a dream role?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I mean, yes, when I was younger, the ones that I belted out are always Ado Annie, Adelaide. I mean, any loud, obnoxious female role I would have loved to have done. So I could still do some loud older lady obnoxious role at some point. Well, no, what was the show? Wait, what was the show this season that I was thinking like, man, I should have been in it and been the old lady mom.
It should have been you.
Yeah, that's what I should have been that. Yeah. But
You're
anyway,
a wonderful old Jewish mother.
Yes, I could be. I could.
I'm still mad that I wasn't invited to whatever fake no auditions for that. I don't have time to do it, but I also wanted to be. I wanted to be in a.
But you're going to have a resentment anyway. That's good.
Right, exactly. I have absolutely no time for it, but I'm very much Adrienne Dobson directly for that, so it's fine.
Well, Kristy, directly, you can ask your next question.
Okay, Linda, Is there any show / play that would entice you to actually get on stage again? That's from Jennifer Hargis. Is there any show / play that would actually entice you to get on stage again?
Okay, here's my problem. I can't do what you guys do. I'm a very holistic thinker. I can remember ideas. There's no way in heck I could ever memorize lines. And then, okay, blocking. Well, okay, we won't talk about that because there's too many funny, sarcastic things you could say about blocking. But, but like the whole thing, I had a bad dream one time that I did decide to be in a TTC show. And I was standing in the wings and people were trying to have to explain to me, you were supposed to be out there already. And it was so anxiety inducing. I do not know how you guys stand that pressure of, wait, when am I supposed to be out there? And when do I leave? I could never do any of that. None of it. So I don't think there's anything that would actually, that's why I like improv. And that's why I like my classroom. And that's why my classroom is my stage, because I run the show. It's my cues. If I screw up the cue, nobody knows because I'm making them up as I go along. I do tend to run the show the same. And the only way I get caught in that is every now and then I'll have a kid who changes, say, from first period to seventh period. And they come in and they'll come up to my desk because they got switched in between. They're like, yeah, the counselor told me to go ahead and to come to class again. I'm in your seventh period now. And they'll go, you said like almost exactly the same in first period. I'm like, busted, because they think it's all just like, you know, but that's different. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's
tell us how you feel about smart boards.
Have I talked to you about that before?
Jennifer Hargis wants to know.
That was my follow-up.
Okay, the pantalla inteligente, the smart board. Yeah, no. It's a glorified projection system, and we spent bajillions of dollars on those pieces of word I can't say because a student might still be watching. So yeah.
Can we just give Jennifer Hargis the Zoom link and we can just pull her in here
right?
and get all these questions out?
I think she's done now.
She'll be on Dads After Dark later. She can tell you more.
Well, you have a very valid point about the bad dreams, nightmares of not coming on stage when you're supposed to. And Rodney in Sunday in the Park with George, I don't think he even sweated it when he missed his cue.
How do you know? You weren't there.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Burn.
I know one person who didn't ask for their money back.
That was a burn backfire.
Man, and I had the burn queued up.
Diva
For
burn.
him.
You know what though? Rodney didn't have to sweat because he knew he could count on his fellow actors
That's
to
right.
cover his butt.
There you go.
Consummate professionals.
There you go.
They were professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
There's your burn, Dana. There's your burn.
There's the burn.
I gave it.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay. So this is a very similar question. Pam Perrone wants to know, being the wife and mother of actors, has that ever given you the itch to get on stage?
Okay. The only other thing I'll do, I love doing, I have once or twice done musical review stuff at Troupe because that's super non-threatening. So if you just ask me to get up and be an alto, and that's the other thing. If I could be part of a chorus for something, I'd love to be part of a chorus. I sing a mean alto.
She sings in our choir at church.
If I could just kind of be in the background, I might do it. But no, I miss when Maria was on stage. I keep trying to get Maria back on stage. The twins are just too busy because they're so multi-talented, but they did the little Shakespeare thing with Randy and they were so cute. It was so wonderful.
Yeah.
I love watching my people on stage. I feel no need to be up there. It's great.
Pamela wants you to know that she loves you dearly.
Oh, I love her dearly too. We love her.
So her next question is for Mark. You have performed for several theaters, numerous performances. Which are you most proud of?
Ooh. I don't know if I can. You got kind of an apples to oranges thing there. Because, the TTC is doing musicals and Stage Theater now, and so does Theater Alliance, primarily just do straight plays. But I think as far as TTC goes, I think Follies is one of those things. There's a special place in my heart for that show, and I think partially because it was so special to Randy. Follies was one of those things. I think he he just really longed to get on stage for a long time. And he finally did. And one of those things about Randy is, when he was really excited about a particular show, you saw it in his direction, in his manner, in everything that he did. And that show, there was just something really special about the people involved. Adrienne can attest to this as well. It forced me to do things as an actor that I hadn't done before. Harold Hill was difficult technically, but it wasn't a particularly deep role.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. He's a con man, and it's clever, and it's got some of the greatest music ever written for the musical theater. But it's not really something where I was forced to be introspective and really think about what made Harold Hill tick. And that's what I had to do with Benjamin Stone, and I'm thankful I had somebody to help me do that, because I felt a little bit out of my depth. So I was really proud that when the curtain went up for the first night on that, I thought it was a good show.
I love that because Stacy, my bestie, played across from him. She and I had a couple conversations where she was like, because she can't naturally act angry with people. That's not her. And so I said, well, just channel all the times that I've complained about Mark and some of it, and she's like, oh, so there's this great picture. I think it's still on this. It's one of the classic pictures where she's across the stage from him and she's giving him these
Look to kill.
Dagger eyes. I was like, she got that from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I loved watching the dynamic between the three of you guys in that show. Stacy and Mark being partners on stage, and then Linda, you being able to coach her to be the partner to your husband. It was really funny, and you guys treat it with such maturity and hilarity. It's really fun to watch. It's fun to watch you, Linda, watching your husband on stage and doing all these different things.
Yeah.
But
so what Mark is that's your proudest TTC show, but what about your straight play stuff? What are you most proud of there?
That's when you just did.
Well,
all the lines, because you had to memorize all his lines.
I think Oscar Jaffe.
Oh, Jaffe. Okay, Jaffe. Well, his hair was amazing.
Yeah, I think it's maybe the hair.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I did 20th Century. I think simply because that was the first time I had done a straight play since high school, I just felt a certain sense of accomplishment that it actually came off without too many difficulties. And it was an amazing cast, and it was just everything really, really came together in that show. And I was really, really proud of the end result.
Hilarious. So funny.
Yeah.
What show is that?
20th Century. It was
Okay.
2 years ago at Stage Center.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it. I knew
Another Jennifer Hargis special.
And that was back at the old
That was the last show.
The last one, yeah.
The last one?
Yeah. The poster was up on the wall outside of the third floor cantina for a long time.
Yeah, the poster of me in Arena was out there for a really long time afterwards. It was kind of funny.
Oh my gosh.
So I think Pamela Perrone is really trying to put a wedge between TTC and Stage Center. She wants to know, do you have a favorite place to perform?
No, I don't, because
No, he really
Very
doesn't.
diplomatic.
I really
answer.
don't. I'm equal opportunity. I mean, I absolutely love theater company. In fact, my first show at theater company was Magination Station in '99. And here we go. So Into the Woods '99.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay, yeah, I won't jump the gun on that. But ever since because the reason I love theater company so much is because it was my first dipping my toe back in the waters since high school. Because high school I was really, really involved in theater, and then I just stopped, and life happened. And so it was a good decade plus later that I decided I want to try to do this again. And my first foray into doing it again was theater company. And it's what the other good thing about it, and Adrienne's seen this too, is just seeing how it's grown over the years in so many different ways. Being in that first show in '99 when there's hardly any instruments at all, and seeing what the orchestra's become, seeing, how we've progressed in every aspect of production.
And you're on the board.
And so
And you're on the board.
and I'm on the board. Ryan, I never thought I would be doing anything, be involved in that kind of capacity, and that's been a blast too. So I.
It was a different experience because then he gets to be with a lot of different kids.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them are like, they're still like, we have all these troop kids they'll come hang out at our house and stuff, and because it's just there, it's almost more like we're sort of, well, I guess we're getting to be grandparent figures soon, but we're like parent or grandparent figures. Like Evan, was always real involved in that, and now they're all those kids are like 20 something, but they come over here and play board games and stuff when they're in town. And so that's more of almost like just a family, safe, try stuff out. And then, but then Mark gets to be a leader there. And
right. And without something like Brass Valley Troop, where would I get the opportunity to be in Pirates of Penzance opposite my own son? Yeah. If you could do something, like that.
That was one of my favorite things when he and Evan were in that. That was super fun.
And that was great.
Is David Manuel watching?
Yeah, he's watching.
Dave was,
He was in that, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Wow.
No, like you said, it's apples and oranges. Like you can do amazing things at every single theater in the area.
We have a question
Dana.
from Amy Hins.
Woohoo.
She would like to know, what has been your most challenging role, both as an actor and musically speaking?
Okay, yeah. So I kind of accidentally touched on that earlier because I saw that she posted that question, and the answer would be the same for both of them, and that would be Benjamin Stone and Follies. And from the acting standpoint, like I was saying, I had to do things that I hadn't done before, and thankfully I had. Some of you know who Brian Burritz is. Good friend of ours. He was in quite a few TTC shows. He was in Jekyll and Hyde.
He was our Nathan Detroit.
Nathan Detroit and Guys and Dolls. He met his wife in Camelot. Right?
Yes. Yeah,
So,
he was Danny Zuko when he choreographed Grease too.
Yes, he was Danny Zuko. God, that was such a...
Oh yes.
I forgot
about that.
Because that was a
Anyway.
weird production of Grease.
That was the whole thing.
He's a dear friend. And so when I was overwhelmed with the prospect of trying to figure out who this guy was, because the character was like 8 or 9 years older than I was, and he was, kind of this Lothario who wasn't very sympathetic, and yet he wasn't a villain, and he was conflicted. And
you have trouble with that?
The Lothario point,
So
I feel like I haven't been doing that enough. I'm just
because this character was so far removed from who I was. No, so I went to Brian and I was like, I need some help. And so I had sessions at Brian's apartment. We went through all the difficult scenes, and he took me through everything that he could find in the character on those pages and helped me pull them out.
Amazing.
And I was so thankful for that because I really needed that. But it was an educational experience because I got to sort of learn how to ask the right questions. Because sometimes what's apparent about a character is not, in the words on the page. It's in between them, and that's sort of what cliche, but it's true. And he really helped me. And so it was a challenge, but it was worth the work. It was good. Oh, okay. And I'm sorry. And so the musical part of it, it was also the most difficult musically because Sondheim. Accidentals left and right, changing keys in the middle of a phrase. What can you say? The thing is, once you get a Sondheim song, then it like never leaves you, which is kind of scary.
Ever. I sing my parts in Sweeney Todd. I sing the alto part every time I sing the entire show.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And you'll never lose it.
Your Fault from Into the Woods. That's in my brain. It's here. It's never
It's
leaving.
your fault.
Do you remember the octet mark in Follies where it was like the 4 younger, so it was me, Cameron, Casey, Corey, and then it was you and Stacy and Amy and Jay Paul, and
waiting for the
girls downstairs,
yeah,
and
downstairs, yeah.
Going to Tony's, no to Tony's, you to Tony's, no to Tony's, like
Tony.
it was crazy. It was crazy.
But once we got it, it was a lot of fun.
Yes, and then there was the number that led into like the fantasy sequence where there's literally 4 different arguments happening on stage. But like you might be talking to the younger version of your partner versus the older, and there's like 8 people yelling at each other on stage. But like in time with Sondheim music, that was, whoo. We got it though, right? Like it was good.
We got it.
Okay,
That's what I keep telling myself.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Perfect. Good.
I mentioned Follies, Sarah, Emily Miller, and I. That was the show where I wanted to make sure everybody knew which parts of the set I painted.
That's
Sarah and I would hang up there late at night playing music, and I'd be like, and then I told everybody that when I'd come in, hey, that flower, I painted that flower. That was mine.
Well, there was the whole like second act love scape. I mean, the painting in that show was ridiculous. Like she did so much.
So much stuff.
It had to transform from this like broken down theater that they were all meeting to back in its like glory days.
Yeah.
All right, Kristy.
Okay, so I'm going to skip the question. Amy Hins had 2 questions. One of them was for Mark. What role did you have to really dig deep for? And I feel like we just covered that. Like that, or do you want to change?
Yeah, we asked that one.
Yes. So I'm going to substitute it for a Linda question. What is your favorite role that Mark's played? What's your favorite thing to see him on stage?
Oh, wow.
The silent pianist in every melodrama.
No, it's Harold Hill. I mean, honestly, literally, I'm not sure I would have married him if he hadn't played Harold Hill in his. I mean, you know, our music. We were talking, as the kids say. I guess they don't say that anymore. But then I found out he had it on VHS. So that was date night one night. Remind me, by now I have these twins. I have these rapscallion twins. But here's the thing. Part of the way I kept my sanity, because, you know, my twins were born at 27 and a half weeks. And my ex-husband left me. We won't go into all that. But anyway, so I'm alone and I've got these twins, you know, and I would take them in the twin stroller and I would sing musical theater. My dad raised us. My dad sang musical theater to us when we were kids. So I'd be going down with my twin stroller going, oh, the Wells Fargo wagon. And I'd jump the stream, you know. So when I found out he was in, I was like, you were in the Music Man? I was like, so what were you? He's like, oh, well, I was Harold Hill. I was like, what? You know, so he played the VHS version of it for me. And I was like, I mean, Harold Hill. We always talk about 15 minutes. Yeah, I was like,
That's our big line.
Yeah.
So Harold Hill is the painting.
Harold Hill. I know. It's yeah, he's Harold Hill. Yeah.
Who knew? That's amazing. Okay, so
honey.
So sidebar
on the opposite side of that.
Okay, never mind.
Dana, what? Dana had something.
No, go ahead. It's fine. So
I thought that was my question.
What can we expound upon that for 1 second?
Kristy can.
Sure.
No, you can't.
I didn't know we were supposed to. You go.
We were supposed to.
You're so rigid. Okay, so.
All right, so Mark, I gotta quit.
He is
I'm
rigid.
just messing with Dana, really.
So Rodney and I both. That's our dream, one of our.
No, I've withdrawn that as my dream role. Because I don't want to do it.
Because he's already married.
Okay.
Don't need him.
Sorry, Mark.
So Dana, what were you going to say?
Go ahead, Dana.
Dana and Rodney both share the same dream roles. One of them.
Okay.
One of those is Harold Hill of the 2 dream roles we have, but just
both
changed. That.
Already married, so you don't need to play it again.
Yeah, that's true.
You know that Music Man was not a show that I was exposed to as a kid. That's just not one that ever like entered my world. I'm fine with that. But the reason I knew about the Music Man is because of Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. There's like this really silly fun time where they're like, hey, are you going to audition for the musical? And she's like, I love the Music Man. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon. And I was like, that sounds stupid. And right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. No, that's that. Of course, I had everything on vinyl because I'm old. I wore out that vinyl. I wore out Oklahoma. I wore out South Pacific. All those. Like it got to where was anybody? I don't think anybody's old enough. Nobody's as old as I am. So, but what happens if you play the vinyl too much? Eventually, the needle just skates across it, And I wore out Music Man. I wore out South Pacific. We still have it. It's sitting over in the closet there. We got some of them sitting over there, but yeah.
I have a lot of my dad's vinyl, and also Randy's. I have a lot of Randy's vinyl that that have the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, KP.
So I was saying before I was
Nobody
so rudely
cares.
interrupted.
Sorry.
By so many people.
I wait to interrupt when it's my turn to have a question because I don't know the rules. This is my first timer.
Oh.
But
Me too.
so I threw my own question in the midst of my time to question.
This is why, Kristy, this is why you should be drinking, because then you wouldn't hesitate to interrupt whenever you needed to.
No, I'm drinking. It's in here.
Oh.
Be ready. Don't worry. Bye.
No worries.
I am behaving though. I'm behaving.
Cheers.
From Amy Hins, what really grinds Mark's gears? He's always so cool and collected. I know that's not true. But,
See, okay.
it's like,
Thank you.
so, but
I mean-
what grinds his gears though? I do want to hear about that. That's funny.
I want to hear that too.
Well, you already covered it, Kristy. It's just not true. So he must have really been behaving around Amy because, I mean, the list is just too long. I don't know how much time we have. We can do that. We can do that in After Dark because, like, there's, like, that's a long list. But this is what I told him earlier because we saw that one.
He's giving
You're
you
gonna want to watch this back.
knows.
That's a good face.
Here's the thing. Underneath this cool exterior is a seething mass of nothing but grinding gears. So,
Oh, dang. That's a
So,
lot.
this is a testimony to his consummate expert abilities as an actor because he is able to project calm and cool and collected. It takes people a while to know him and see him in certain scenarios. But for example, I don't know if Jennifer's still watching, but if you ask your performer to learn a scene in a Scottish accent, and then he spends hours and hours doing it, then you say, no, we're good, you don't need to do that. That'll kind of grind his gears.
I think she
Things
knows.
like that. But here's the other thing. I'm gonna be nice about it. I'm gonna be nice. The thing is, he is very aware that that's his side of the street, that he's the one that put the pressure on himself. So partly the reason he projects calm and cool is because he doesn't want anybody else to feel badly. Whereas I just go ahead and let you know that you really put me in an awkward position. You suck.
I love how well you know each other.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And balance each other out.
We do balance.
And that's important because with our kids, there's things that they do that super like annoy him, like when they use up our data plan on the phone and he sends them all a group message, hey kids, we're almost out of data. And then they're all like, they message me, Dad's messaging us again, stuff like that. But it's just like, yeah.
I
Who's
feel
paying
you
the
on the
bill?
data plan thing, 100%.
Okay, I have a question. This is for me because you, in the picture that we posted, you were wearing your most recent Into the Woods shirt, and now you're wearing the 96 or 97 Into the Woods shirt?
99.
99. Sorry. Okay, so you were part of Into the Woods at these two like bookend moments almost, because that was not long after we became the theater company, right?
99, we were still Imagination Station.
Still Imagination Station.
Right before it's.
It was right before the switch.
Okay, so why do you think that so I have a question about Into the Woods in general and a question about Into the Woods at the theater company, because I feel like anytime someone comes on from that show, we have a lot to say about it. So why do you think that that's a show that we do so often? We've done it, I guess, 3 times since you've been there. And what was different about the two times that you did it at the theater company?
Well, it's kind of interesting because you got to remember, this was the show that Sondheim wrote after Sunday in the Park with George. It came out in the late 80s. And I think it was probably 87 when it hit Broadway. And when I saw it on its first tour, it was 88. I saw it in Dallas. And I'll never forget this because I went to, it was Fair Park Music Hall in Dallas again. And there was this girl I was going out with at the time. I said, hey, let's go see this musical. You don't know her.
Who, Mark? Who were you going out with?
Her name in the book was taken by somebody he dated.
It was Laura, was their name.
Oh yeah, I know her name, the Cuban.
No. That was Barbara. So anyway.
Wow, Mark.
Like, no.
So I was there buying tickets, and I was there buying tickets for an evening performance, but I was there buying them while the matinee performance was going on, and so they were piping in the stuff from the stage into the lobby. So my first exposure to Into the Woods was standing there buying tickets for the evening performance, and it was the opening of the show, where Little Red Riding Hood is in the baker's place, and she's singing the little motif, Into the Woods, da, 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 da. And I remember thinking, because I'd watched Sunday in the Park with George 18,000 times, and I was thinking, well, this is sort of a different kind of thing. This is a light, frothy little show that's going to just kind of jumpy, and it's going to be, nothing heavy about it.
Oops.
Of course. So we went that night and saw it, and I was blown away. Of course, you know how when you see Sondheim, there's always songs that grab you the first time, and the second time there's other songs that grab you. And of course, but the first time you saw it, it was Agony that got me. I was just like, and then when the second act, when they came and did Agony Part 2, I was like, they're doing another one. This is great. And I thought, oh man, it would just be so wonderful if I could just maybe play one of those roles one day. Those princes are so much fun. So fast forward to 99, Imagination Station's doing Into the Woods. But you understand, by the time they were doing that, it was not what Into the Woods is today. Today, everybody knows Into the Woods. In 99, theater people knew it, but your common man on the street had no idea what Into the Woods was. So not a whole lot of people showed up for the 99 auditions. And it wasn't just because there were less people then involved in theater. It was also because I don't think people knew what the heck the show was. And so the experience of being on it, it was kind of like we were doing something unique and new that kind of not many people knew about or understood. And so there was a newness to it, for lack of a better word. And I was Rapunzel's prince. Brian Troyan was Cinderella's prince. He lives in Chicago now. Amanda Van Roy was in it.
Morrissey.
Right. On the back of my shirt, it's Van Roy. Tina was Cinderella. Tina Evans, and it was a fun cast. Kristen Mitchell was. I'm sorry.
Kristen Mitchell was Little Red.
Yeah, she was a great Little Red.
Good.
Alan Janowski was the wolf. Anyway, so that was of course we had less of an orchestra then. The sets, everything that Imagination Station Theater Company did at the time were like flats. It was like you roll out the flat, you change the scene. It was very, very, quick and dirty. There was just not a lot of expense being spent on the sets because we didn't have as much money. I was not in the second production, which I can't remember what year that was, 2000 something.
Like 6 or 7.
I don't know, 10 years ago.
It was after Jackson was born.
Always
it was that was the one with Cameron and Michelle and me and Deborah.
It was around 6 or 7. Yeah.
Keith Owen was in it. Keith was Rapunzel's prince that time around.
Now, we should talk about the common denominator in all Into the Woods productions that TTC has done. Reed Self has been the mysterious man in every one.
Reed Self is the mysterious.
Yeah, he kind of is.
I love him so much. He's so great.
He just, he knocked our socks off in the 1990 production. The big touching number between him and the baker, which was Rhodey Miller. It was just, and Amanda talked about this at the telethon, I think, about how all of us, there's a lot of people who die in the second act of Into the Woods. So a lot of us have nothing to do. So we would all sneak in the back and watch the big No More song, because it would kill us every night. So then we do it. Huh? Yes. Then we did it 2016. So by this time, Into the Woods is almost like a commodity. It's like,
the movie had happened at this time. It had been revived multiple times. Yeah.
So everybody knows it. So that was a big casting call. There were a lot of people in that theater crying out for that show.
It was scary.
It was interesting. And that time I was the narrator, which was a tremendous amount of fun. Because I told Randy, I'm going to do it a little bit different than I've seen the narrator done before, because I kind of wanted to make him a little bit more obnoxious. And he emailed me, said, go for it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get eaten by the giant either way.
What a metaphor for life, Mark.
Yes.
Way to spoil the ending.
We're all going to get eaten by the giant anyway, so.
That's right.
It was 2010. I looked.
2010. So that means 1999, 2010, 2016. So, so those are the main differences. I know it's a really long-winded answer because I'm giving my whole history with Into the Woods, but it's a show that I just love so much.
And Evan was in it at Troop.
Oh, Evan did it at
Evan was in Troop.
That's
yes,
right.
Evan did it at Troop.
He was Jack.
And you know what? I didn't like the show the first time I saw it, really, but then you get perspective and you start listening to the words, and oh my gosh, it's so powerful.
Well, I didn't like that song No More because I'd only heard the soundtrack. I had never actually seen it. And I heard No More, and that was always my skip song. Like I didn't care.
Yeah.
But seeing it, so when I saw it, the first one was with Cameron, and then the next time was with Paul Early. It happened.
Oh, come on.
But obviously both times,
I already said it earlier.
but both times with Reed Self, like Reed was amazing. And then both of those actors, specifically Cameron and Paul, were so different. That's another reason I just love that show. It's because every time I see it done, it's completely different. But that song is one of my favorites. And I think it's one of the most moving moments of the show. And it wasn't until I saw Reed do it.
Yeah, he was absolutely astounding, and managed to capture everything that character is about at that moment, and the sadness and the longing and the sense of regret for things not done, and he captured it in his singing and his vocals and his presence. He had a presence on stage that that was just you couldn't take your eyes off the guy.
Well, that moment in the show for the baker, he's literally crying like, enough. I cannot take what, oh my gosh, it's this year, you guys.
Yeah, it's a song for this year.
One more thing, no more giants, no more witches. Like, I cannot take one more dang thing. And then there's a hurricane, and then there's murder hornets, and then and then the mysterious man is basically there to say, like, no, you are going to take it, and there probably will be more, but you can take it. Like, that show, I don't know, Dana and Rodney, do y'all have much experience with Into the Woods, or do you know kind of what the intention was behind the giant and what it signified?
I've seen the show a couple of times, the movie. I've never seen the show.
So the giant is this like unknown terror that at the end of Act 1, everyone gets their happy ending. It's like Once Upon a Time. It's everyone's happy except for the villains, and then they get their eyes gouged out and everything's fine. Right. Act 2, you think everything is going to be fine, but then this like unknown terror literally just starts taking out your friends and the family, and everyone keeps dying. And so Sondheim wrote this show in the midst of the AIDS crisis, because HIV and the AIDS virus was this unknown villain that would literally just tear people apart from each other. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that at all until Randy talked to us about it. But then every time we do the show, it hits differently. So when we did it in 2016, two things were happening when the show, when we did the show. It was Tony's, so it was like this weird like celebration of theater and our community. But then the Saturday night show was the night of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida.
Oh wow!
And we did a matinee the next day, and then that night was like the Tonys. And so normally you'd have like a watch party and everyone would go watch the Tonys together. But that night I remember going home to my couch, watching the Tonys, sitting by myself and just sobbing and having this moment, because that was Hamilton was up that year, and they did Guns and Ships with no actual guns as like a statement, but I remember literally quoting that song of like, where do we go from here? Like where do we go? And I feel that like right now, like, where do we go? And because I just can't take any more of this. But then there's the mysterious man, or, whatever the mysterious man is to you, whether it's your family or your people or your theater, that's saying like, yeah, this is going to suck for a while, but you know what? You're going to take it because you think you can't take any more, but you can, and you will. That show.
I think it
rough.
might be on Broadway HD. I'm gonna have to watch that closely.
I have the DVD of the Bernadette Peters version.
What character did she play?
Which hello.
Yeah, watch the Bernadette Peters one.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. It's good because that has most of the original cast. There is a revival that's filmed with like Vanessa Williams as the witch, but Laura Benanti is Cinderella, and that's a beautiful version, but it's very different. That was like early 2000s or maybe late 90s where they were like, let's do some cool things with it, and it was interesting. But that original one is Joanna Gleason is the baker's wife.
She's outstanding. That's why you got to watch that one. Her and
Chip.
Thank you, Chip Zien.
Yeah. Who Zien was in the original company of It Should Have Been You. He was the Jewish dad.
I didn't know that.
Full circle. Circles
That's really
on circles.
cool.
Yeah, if you listen to the soundtrack, like it's so distinct. As soon as he does his little talk singing, like It Should Have Been You, you're like, wait, what? It's your fault. It's really good. It's really good.
So Keith Owen says it was an honor to play Rapunzel's prince after you, Mark.
Oh.
And just in time for your next question, Cody wanted to let us know that he's late, but he's tuning in.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. Hey, Cody.
So yeah, and I saw this question coming up, and I didn't. Usually we pick our own questions, and somebody picked this for me, so I appreciate it.
I do it all the time.
So Cody was on I think he was on a Dads After Dark with Rob, and it was interesting because I was sitting there, and I find myself frequently in Dads After Dark, just kind of sitting there and listening to everybody else talk because it's time for everybody else to talk. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, I've got Adrienne here, and I've got Rob here, and I've got Cody here. These are three of the most like influential people of my like very brief theater experience. And so since Cody's here, I'll brag on him a little bit. When we were building the set for My Fair Lady, he gave me this task of building just the door framing or whatever for the outside of the house, and so I put something together, and he just gushed over it, and it really kind of inspired me to do a lot of stuff with sets and building and stuff like that. So thank you, Cody. I appreciate that. Yeah, he says "aw" back like yeah. Sweet, whatever. Move on.
Circles on circles, because that was Jennifer Harkis's scene. Those beautiful French doors with the little tea. Oh my gosh, that's the scene with me serving the tea set with the like. Yeah. Anybody drinking this? Cutest person in the world. Okay, sorry, Rodney.
No problem. All right, so his question is to Mark. Will you adopt me?
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, and then his follow-up question is to Linda. When do we tell him that you already did?
Fair.
So it's more of a statement. It's not really
more of a statement.
Yeah,
absolutely. We're empty nesters now. So
no, we're not.
Well,
no, yeah.
they do kind of keep.
We have all their stuff.
We can make room.
You have all their stuff.
Give me a call, Cody.
Except for the motorcycle.
I also like that Cody snuck in a burn whenever he said yes when Rodney and I built the set and Dana did not participate.
Yes. Go, Cody.
Dana's getting all the burn.
I mean, it is a DivaDads episode, so
yeah.
Thank you, Cody.
All right, Dana, your turn.
Why am I always got the Terri Dobson questions? I love
yeah,
you, Terri Dobson. Don't.
Here's why.
Don't
Here's
get me
why.
wrong, but
because I'm the one that puts all the questions together, so I get to assign
Terri.
them.
Go, Terri. I can't wait to hear this.
So, the question is, it's not really a question. It's miss seeing Mark on stage. And I'll be honest, my late arrival to TTC has really been stupid. I could have been involved a couple years before, and I kick myself often for it because I would have been able to see you. I would have been able to see the Roger Pines, the Christina Freemans,
There's just one Roger Pine.
You know what I'm saying? And so I really kicked myself. And so when I brought up the preview party, it's because that's really the only time, because I didn't get a chance to go to Stage Center, that I've seen you on stage and kind of playing that part, and I loved it. So yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, my mom said something really nice about Mark. Can I tell you the last thing that my mom emailed me? She sent me a recipe for bread, and in the subject line, she says, "Even you can do this."
Nice.
Sweet. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
She is awesome. I love her.
She is awesome. But yeah, that's okay. Mark and Linda, do y'all have any questions for the Diva Dads before we wrap up this portion?
I mean,
Well, I'd like to know when we're going to see the Diva Dads on stage again.
When are we going to see anyone on stage again, Mark? Come on.
Okay.
I mean, we're both Mike's not
he's
in.
not in anything, but
He's not in anything.
you and I are
but-
in Tuck, and
Yeah.
you're in Should Have Been You.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember who was in what.
Yeah, I'm in both. I'm in.
Are y'all still rehearsing?
No.
No.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
I mean, we have a bunch of videos that we could be working through, but I'm sure I'm not alone and have not looked at them in a few
You're
weeks.
not working on this stuff?
You're not either. Come on. No, it's really hard. I think both casts were really amazing and really flexible. For the shutdown, everyone was game to do these online rehearsals. I know it was really hard, especially to do music. I knew Weston's head was exploding every time we had to do any Zoom music rehearsal. And so we kept it up kind of as long as there was like an end in sight. Okay, we think that maybe at this point we can do the show. At this point we can do the show. And there was a window where we probably should have just gone for it. Because as soon as that window was over, then, cases started going up again. And then it was like, okay, well, things are better now, but then school's going to start and things are already getting worse. So, but I mean, I don't regret it because, we don't know what would have happened if we had seized that moment and performed a show. We don't know. So the casts are still there. I know that if there was like a miracle and I could say, hey, we're going to do the show in September, we could do it.
Right.
I trust everybody to be able to come together and get it going. But yeah, it's hard to keep drilling something in your head over and over again, without knowing when it's ever going to happen. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Linda, you were saying several times about the therapy sessions for Diva Dads or Dads After Dark, and honestly, like, it's freaking depressing. Like, the fact that I just now am kind of living the dream that I've had since a kid, and now it's killed in a year and a half. Like, it sucks and it's depressing. However, Riley May, the fact that we can do Diva Dads in this way and still talk about these things and enjoy reliving the stories and hearing sometimes people sing. As a matter of fact, Mark, do you have anything that you could pull out for a verse and a chorus or something for us?
Trouble. You got trouble. You always get trouble. Harold,
It's been too long. It's been too long.
If you did that, I think I'd
let me
pass
down.
out.
Yes, he can. He's lying. He can totally do
He
trouble.
can do it. I've seen it.
But before he does trouble, what happened to the Kristy favorite body part question?
Thank you, Linda.
Yes, I'm ready with my answer.
I think we were saving that for After Dark.
Oh, okay.
Here's what I'll say. It came in late after I had already compiled the outline questions.
Blah, blah, blah. Chicken out.
Okay, we'll talk
I got it from what was that old show? Like the couples, the old
Newlywed Game?
The Newlywed Game.
Yes.
I was thinking of it when he goes, "This
Bob
is
Eubanks.
for both of you. What is your partner's favorite body part?" Yeah, that's what it is. I got it from the Newlywed Game.
This is getting so. Mark, this is your time. Start going through those lyrics in your head while she does this.
Yeah. See, I was buying you time.
Okay. Well, let me just before I do anything, Kristy, Diva Dad Kristy Petty. You're Diva Dad today, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Call her daddy.
Oh Lord.
Daddy.
Somebody's got to make it weird, like Mike.
Right?
No. I don't have a question for you, but I do want to say that seeing you on stage in Mamma Mia after not seeing you on stage for so long was one of the greatest joys of. You were so fantastic, and I was like, how come I don't see her do this?
That and when Karen Chavez came in town and you and Fluke get to do your like backup singer stuff, like all that stuff. We need more of that.
Rodney, did you feel the same way?
What,
No.
what is Rodney doing?
I'm not sure.
What's Rodney doing? All right, go, baby.
I don't remember this.
Yes, he can. He's lying. Get up and dance.
No, I'm not going to get up. Either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you're not aware of the caliber of disaster presented by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here is the trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, my billiard player's certainly mighty proud to say. I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with you in my hand are golden. Cultivate horses and a cool head and a keen eye. You ever take a tractor to give an ironclad leap to yourself from a 3-rail billiard shot? But just as I say it takes judgment, brains, and pretty to score in a ball-blind game, I say that any boo can take and shove a ball in a pocket. I call that sloth. First big step on the road to the depths of degradation. First, medicinal wine from a teaspoon, then beer from a bottle. And the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pinchback suit. And listening to some big out-of-town Jasper here and tell about horse race gambling. Oh, not a horse race, no, but a race where they set down right on the horse. Like to see some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on damn patch, making but more, well, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets in the table. Pockets that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum with the capital P and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. That's all I remember.
Stinking amazing.
Awesome.
So many words.
Yeah, you're not good with those, Rodney.
No, I'm not.
Now, Kristy, you wanna ask your question?
Oh, I had an extra question before it was time to go somewhere else, or the question I'm supposed to ask on here?
No, the question you wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, I want to know when we get to do show tune sing along again at the village.
Okay,
Yes.
That was my question.
Well,
Oh, you mean the dirty question? Let's
Yes.
go with the question first. When do we get to do that? I think we can do it
first Friday.
friendly. I think we can do it COVID friendly.
I think so too.
Good.
Well, were you able to line up a music act for your first Friday?
No, not yet. Maybe that's what we should do. That's a good idea. That's this Friday, the 4th.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Why not? Wait.
that's too.
What are
that
we
may be
doing?
too soon. I don't know. I've got it. We will do it.
I think we should do it. We don't have to do it this Friday, but I think we should do it again. I've been thinking
I think
about
we
it.
should do it again too. Let's give time so we can actually
Absolutely.
pull it together. And because I liked at the time we did it when you had like the song sheet so everybody could.
And I still have all those. I mean, like I
Right.
saved them. And
So if we go through those and pull the songs and maybe get a good MC.
yeah. I think it would be
It helps if I don't have to do the whole thing and have somebody else MC it.
Was that a Diva burn to Kristy?
No. It helps to have somebody there assisting me.
Well,
Anybody.
Michelle was there a lot, and then I think I had didn't I
Rodney's
have
volunteering.
Molly?
There you go. Rodney would do
Rodney.
it.
Yeah. Okay, what's up? I see Pickett.
I'm game.
He has to be on camera all the time. He's a diva.
I wonder where he gets it. I think that if we did it where maybe even we let people sign up for songs ahead of time, so it kind of like, I don't know, I was thinking about that, like to make it more like stay in your seat and then come up and
Oh yeah.
We need.
That's a good
Let's think
idea.
through that. That's a good idea.
so it can be, you're kind of staying in your area and spaced out. But yeah, I want to do it.
My-
We were talking about that being one of the first things that we could do on the way back.
My wheels are turning on this, Kristy. Let's talk about this soon.
Super fun.
Let's take this off the way.
All right, so let's move to Jennifer Riley's fun fact of the week, and then we can continue this conversation in Dads After Dark.
Right.
Hi there, Diva Dads. I hope you all are having a very diva-ish day. This is Jen, your fun fact correspondent. And this week, I'm going to share 5 unexpected names for groups of animals. So like, a pack of wolves. Well, here are 5 that you might not know. We have a congregation of alligators, an army of frogs, a smack of jellyfish, a wisdom of wombats, and a murder of crows. And that one is especially my favorite because there was a photo I saw a while ago that was 2 crows on a log
and the caption was an attempted murder. I hope you all continue to have a good week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good day.
Thank you for being a friend.
Okay, we're back. And sorry, Jennifer Riley, that they were talking over the end of your clip there. But
we're not.
I don't know if the smack of jellyfish, like, it makes me think of like a PB&J. Maybe I'm just hungry.
No, it makes me think of Finding Nemo when they're jumping on the jellyfish.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It makes me. My brother and I were just talking about like the one of the worst things about like the Gulf Beach, like around Corpus and Rockport, was the jellyfish.
Oh yeah.
About the dang jellyfish, and so we weren't
Padre Island too.
Oh my gosh, yes, jellyfish. Those
jellyfish everywhere.
Now we know. We can just say smacks.
Yeah, those smacks.
I've never heard of a congregation of alligators.
No, it sounds very like nice, but it's.
Yeah. I mean, they probably all are Southern Baptist.
But how often do they gather though? Like, I didn't think of alligators as an animal that would like be communal.
Once a week. That's why they're a congregation.
Once a week.
Once a week, yeah.
Once a week.
Sunday around 10 a.m.
And they all sit in the back.
Murder of Crows.
You guys, this was so much fun.
It was fun.
I would say Murder of Crows always makes me think of Edward Allan Poe and like Quoth the Raven.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, because that's not a crow, but it's black.
Yeah, crows and ravens are basically the same bird.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, she's a teacher.
There you go. See how smart you are, Kristy.
I'm smart.
Grackles are in the same family.
No, but they're well, never mind. I'll be quiet.
Dirty birds.
They're gross.
Kristy, you want to send us out and say thank you?
Guys, this is my first of many, many more guest starring roles at DivaDads.
Vote now in the chat if you want her to permanently replace Mike.
Dana asked me personally if I would do this because he was spending time with me. So,
wow.
And so I'd like to personally invite you to spend the evening with us in Dads After Dark, as we're going to say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for watching.